in today. We are so excited for the guest that we have today. So thanks again for tuning in, and I hope that you had a great week and are taking care of your mental health, because that's really real right now. So our topic today is going to be Seattle hip hop, and on the grill we're talking martial arts. And you know, I love setting up every show with a quote that lays the groundwork for an interesting and provocative conversation. So here's the quote. Rags to riches are the stories that tell us that money can't buy dreams, aspirations, and success. And that's just real. And that comes from the diary of life. I'm stuttering because I'm chewing gum, and that's a no-no. Y'all don't chew no gum. But I think that quote sets us up nicely to talk, express, relate, and connect with our special guest today. Y'all ain't ready. DJ Nasty Ness is in the backyard.
Wow. That was a nice intro. I like that one. That was pretty good. But money can buy a gold rope. Money can buy a Rolex. I'm just joking. That was good. That was good. What you said.
You know what? I got that quote from the inspiration when I was doing the research about the groundwork that you've done for this culture. And it just goes to show that no matter where you start, if you are genuinely into something and you are genuinely trying to motivate someone to be great, there's a process that goes with that. And if you're looking to get paid, you're not necessarily going to get paid. You need to do that because it comes from your heart. And that's what you've done with everything that you've done in this culture of hip hop. And that's why I'm so excited to have you. So let's kick this off. What you been up to?
Well, you know, on behalf of what you just said, I always tell people that I mentor or when I do interviews, one thing that I've stood by since day one, and I had to learn through all my mistakes and everything is you know, to become successful and rich, you gotta love what you're doing, and don't do it for the money. You gotta do it because you love. Because if you think about it, everyone that's a millionaire or has a lot of money did it out of hours, working hours for free because they loved it. I love being on the radio. I love music. I love hip hop. I love martial arts. I just loved it. I used to do stuff for free. I loved interning just to get my foot in the door.
Yes.
And I learned that when you do stuff out of love and you really love doing it and you dedicate yourself to doing it, not always will you get paid monetarily, but you get paid in other ways, you know, like me being on your show, man, you know, me meeting all these DJs, all these people in my life, you know, I mean, getting paid that way, it's such a beautiful feeling. It's, you know, I learned that materialistic things doesn't buy happiness, because I've been there before. It's nice to have, but it doesn't buy happiness. But you gotta become successful by doing something you do out of love. You gotta love doing it, you know, really.
Yes. Just like I love this podcast. I don't even have 1,000 subscribers, which according to YouTube is the get down. But for me, that's not the get down. The get down for me is having just the gift of being able to talk to people like you that pour in motivation to me to keep going, and allows me to know that it's not about the money, because I'm so excited about doing this show every Sunday. It supersedes anything else. So this is what I love, and this is what I'm going to do, and continue to be able to motivate our culture and share with them the things that I get to share through the great relationships like having you. So let me shout out my boy Jeff from BTP.
Jeff Kwan. Jeff Kwan.
That's the truth. He's the truth. And I love him, and I appreciate him. And Jeff's one of those people too, for the culture, as you know. And he always is looking to ways to help push the culture forward, help other people find their way. So we love you, Jeff, and we're going to keep the interview going since I got Ness in the building. So tell me about your journey to hip hop. Let our audience know.
It started actually, it officially started in 1980.
Okay.
When I got my first job, I was only 18 years old, and I was on a commercial radio station. They just got sold, and so I started working there. And then they asked me if I was interested in doing a show on Sunday nights where I played nothing but new music for 2 hours.
Okay.
And that kind of evolved into me playing new hip hop music mixed with R&B. And next thing I know, I got a lot of requests. People want to hear more rap stuff than all the new R&B stuff. So I guess you can say I was the first guy on the West Coast to have an all-rap radio show on a commercial radio station, not knowing that I was going to be the first one. But it started in 1980. So going through my history, I'm just making a long story short. In 1983, not knowing that we went to the same high school, I met Sir Mix-a-Lot. Okay. And we established a relationship. By 1985, Sir Mix-a-Lot, a guy named Ed Locke, and we all started a record label called Nasty Mix Records. And this is coming out of Seattle. And we ended up going gold and platinum, which was something really not heard of because we weren't from the Bronx. And we definitely weren't from Compton. We were from Seattle. So that happened. And, I've just been in radio, since 1980. I've been in a couple of motion pictures. One is House Party 4. That's the one without Kid and Play. IMX was in it. But I had the funniest part because I played the gay pilot, and boy, I tell you, it was so convincing.
But you said you had to even convince yourself. Now, before you take us fastly through your elaborate work ethic and contribution to the culture, I want to break it up some because although for you, that's been fast, but I need to remind you of how much that means to people like me, what work you've done. So let's start about you being the first DJ really to introduce an all rap show in Seattle called Fresh Tracks. And when you were on 1250 KFOX. How did that come together? I mean, you gotta tell me, Ness, because that's really good stuff. And you really put hip hop on the map in terms of Seattle radio, and that's no front. How did you pull that off?
Just by trial and error. A lot of my influences came from listening to New York radio, 92 WKTU, because my sister lived in New York and I spent my summers in New York, and her best friend worked at 92 KTU. That was the station where DJs like the Latin Rascals, Jelly Bean Benitez all started from there. So I kind of bit their idea, and I said, what if I try that here on the West Coast? I wonder if people will like it, because I knew how to mix and stuff on the turntables, and no one ever did that on the radio yet, except for 92 KTU. And so when I did that in Seattle, just my ratings, I just noticed the ratings kept going higher and higher and higher. Then when I started playing rap music, it kept going higher, higher and higher. And then all these labels from Def Jam, Russell Simmons, Rick Rubin, all these people would call me up and say, "Hey, Ness, man, I got this new Tila Rock. I got this new Run DMC. Can you play for me?" Because they knew I was the only one that would play it in Seattle.
Right.
And I said, "Sure, I'll play it." And you know what? And I guess that's how people knew of me, because they knew I was the guy to go to. And I didn't just break rap. I broke like Evelyn Champagne King, stuff like that. Records from Michael Jackson. I mean, I've got tons of plaques in my place, to show evidence if no one believes me. But
he's surrounded with plaques.
I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just so fortunate. Honestly, Lisa, I did not dream that this was going to happen in my life. All I knew is when my mom died when I was 18 from cancer,
Wow.
Her last, yeah, her last wish was to see me graduate from high school. She was really worried about my life, like what's going to happen to me. She thought I was going to maybe end up in jail somewhere, But if it wasn't for being on the radio, because I loved doing that, even though I got a paycheck for it, it didn't even feel like a job because it was fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that just really helped out a lot. And then hooking up with Mixlot, with the record label and on and on. And we need to touch out about the martial arts, because you started off the show about martial arts. We should talk about that too.
Wow. Now, I wanted to ask you, because I heard that you got your influence to become a DJ from Grandmaster Flash.
Well, he was
Tell me about that.
He was one of my influences. Just watch when I saw him in person doing these tricks on the turntables. He had 2 copies of Herbie Hancock Rocket and Chic Good Times and Shannon Let the Music Play, and just how he manipulated both records on 2 turntables. Like, I don't know how he does that. And I remember seeing him in person doing it. Mm-hmm. So that night after I saw him, I went home and I practiced from like midnight to 6, trying to copy what he did. But he played a major influence as far as being a DJ. But as far as the turntables, artists like the Latin Rascals, DJ WizKid, Cameron Paul, they also played a huge influence as far as me being a DJ on the turntables.
Right.
As a DJ on the microphone, my big influences included the legendary Frankie Crocker, cats like him. Yeah. And I got to meet him, Mr. Magic from New York, WBLS.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool, looking up to these people, and when you actually meet them, it's like, wow, man, I met them. I'm going to be just like them.
And look, you are definitely have exceeded in terms of what motivation that we get from other people when we see them do their craft. You did it the right way, in the essence of looking at them, giving them the respect that they need and require in order to just give us little tidbits so that we can get better in the things we want to learn. So because you're such a great relatable person and able to channel that energy onto others, I'm sure it was not a problem to be shown different things and different people to share that with you. Because I just feel that from you naturally, that you're a give and give person. And it's givers and look, and it's givers, things just starts happening. When you give, you definitely get back. Yeah. And that's just the way I get down with everything. But I wanted to ask you what your experience was like in Seattle, because after 17 years of being there and being a pioneer with hip hop and introducing it to, I don't want to say people that wasn't open-minded, but the genre is always in question to some people, whether it's going to be a positive or negative effect. And they keep us on that fine line all the time. So I'm sure in your pursuit to bring the genre to Seattle, you had to meet some resistance. Talk to us about that.
Well, when it first came out, I got a lot of negative resistance because people said it's a fad. It's not going to last. It's going to come and go. Mm-hmm. But in my heart, I said, you know what? I don't agree with you. I really believe 20 years from now, we'll be making a living from hip hop. I don't know how, I don't know who with what, but it's going to happen. I just really believed in it, And boy, I'm sure glad I'm right, because these people back then didn't agree with me. And I think the only reason why that my show continued is because the ratings kept going higher and higher. Mm-hmm. And when the ratings go higher, and I was on the commercial radio station, that means advertisers will buy commercials. So they were spending money on my show, And plus, it's kind of cool, about Nasty Ness, when people saw me, they go, damn, you're not black. I said, nah. What are you? I go, I'm Filipino. And, it was kind of cool, being an Asian
Yes.
To represent, because I love everybody, but it's kind of neat to be one of the first Asians to be the guy in hip hop, because it was at that time it was only me, and if you remember the group, the Two Live Crew, there
Yes.
was Fresh Kid Ice. It was him and I were like really the only ones in hip hop back then.
Yeah.
And people would mistake us, like I'd be on an airplane and they go, "Yo, man, your arm's healed." I said, "What are you talking about? Didn't you always have your arm in a slingshot?" They go, "No, that's Fresh Kid Ice." He goes, "Oh, my bad." And they would think he was Nasty Nuts, But yeah, rest in peace. He passed away a few years ago. But yeah.
We just lost some great ones. But in saying that, a lot of people like to say hip hop has a color to it, but it's not a color to hip hop. It's the circumstances that attract us to hip hop. And by you being a minority, guess what? You know what it is to be included in things and being assessed by the way that you look because you don't look like somebody else, and when you live your life like that, it's just hard sometimes for people to understand because you look a certain way or you're a certain race that you should stick to a certain thing, and that's not true. Would you agree with that or disagree?
No, I hear you. I always ignored. It used to bother me when people would make fun of me or call me weak and whack. But Mix-a-Lot told me, "Go, man, use that negative talk and make you stronger." And then I started thinking about it. You know what? Yeah, here I am. Honestly, I'm 60 years old. Look at me, man. I'm wearing my Adidas top with my gold chain, my logo.
And you look good with it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So you put me up against a regular 60-year-old that has nothing to do with hip hop. They look like somebody's old great grandfather, right? Yeah, so it's kept me young. Yes. And I just try my best to ignore what others saying, because usually if they're not talking about you, then you're not really making any noise. And trust me, they used to talk about me, and sometimes they do, sometimes it hurts, but I don't let it get to me. I'm just blessed to still be here doing this 40 years later. I'm blessed to be here talking to you. I mean, really, it's an honor.
Thank you. I mean, it means so much to me to have a pioneer like yourself, just to show the audience that this culture is not about a color of skin. It's about those that are willing to share their circumstances with others and show how they've overcome those circumstances so that they can be a foundation, a motivation for somebody else to be able to do the same thing. And I really feel that culturally, as a minority, that we owe that to our cultures in order to show them to don't let society limit you. We all came in here based on our culture or the color of our skin under the circumstances that we can do certain things. So since I'm Black, I'm supposed to be a better runner than you are. And since just things like that is what really frustrates me about what we're going through right now, because now in society it feels like all of those things that we were called and categories we were put in have now just come to the surface in a way that we can't even be on the streets like we used to. Like our lives are seriously threatened right now. What is your thought about that and where we are culturally with this whole thing?
Yeah, that whole Stop Asian Hate, Black Lives Matter, I'd never in my wildest dreams think that I would be living through an era like that, but I tell you, someone that don't like Asians, they come attack me. I know Chinese boxing.
I know karate crazy. That's what I know. Don't do it. Don't start it over here. So I want to know, after 17 years, you rocking Seattle radio, what made you make the trip to come to California? What was here that you wanted to do that was next for you?
I really didn't want to leave Seattle because I had it made there. I was making so much money. I just had the whole town under lock, But, I wanted to grow. I wanted to get into movies. I wanted to expand. And when the offer came to be the rap editor for Hits Magazine, and they were going to pay for all my expenses, moving expenses, living expenses, I was like, you know what? I can always move back. I can always move back to Seattle.
Right.
And you gotta take that chance in life. It's a scary feeling. It really was. I remember being on the airplane crying because I was scared. I was really scared. But you've got to take a risk in life. If you fail, you just get back up. You try again.
Yes.
And it was the best move I've ever made. I'm really happy to be here. I love Seattle. I go there all the time. But I made that move. I was able to be on, House Party 4. I was in Kung Pao Under the Fist. I was on the TV show ER. I was able to experience all those things that I set my goals to. And then I wanted to add too, with the race issue. One thing I know about hip hop, a lot of people in hip hop love kung fu. And my role model growing up was Bruce Lee, and he happened to be in Seattle, went to school there, started school there. I ended up being a member of his school, and I started hip-hop.
I wanted to talk to you about on the grill, to break that martial arts down to us. So don't give me the fast lane right now, Ness.
Okay.
I want us to talk about that on the grill. You trying to speed me through this No, don't speed me through this, man.
No, I'm not.
So much going down and I know, like, to you, your story is a blink or a flash of the eye, but to someone like myself and my audience that's just thirsting for the knowledge that you so eloquently just drops, like it's just a sprinkle in the water to us, I just want us to be able to separate it in a way that people can see those building blocks of how you overcome everything that was put in front of you and allowed those circumstances to set you up nice. And you set up nice because of it. And so in terms of once you came to Los Angeles to be the rap editor for Hits Magazine, what did you learn from that experience? Because you were in the genre you love and what you brought to Seattle, which was hip hop. However, you're rolling with the pen now. And you're correcting other people's stories in order to bring the best stories in hip hop to us. So how was that experience and how was that mind shift for you?
Well, through that job, I got to meet a lot of people in the business who write checks, who make decisions. And some of these names you might be familiar with, you might not be, but if you're in the business, Steve Rifkin, yes. He owns Loud Records. He discovered the Wu-Tang Clan. Chris Schwartz, he started Rough House Records. He discovered the Fugees, Chris Cross, Tom Silverman, he started Tommy Boy Records where Planet Rock was born. I got to meet, Russell Sims, all these people I got to meet through being at Hits Magazine. And that helped me out too, because I not only was writing with a pen, but I was promoting other people's records to radio. And that just opened a lot of doors. And I'm still doing that now, so it's definitely been a blessing. I just work out of my bedroom, honestly.
And make it happen.
Yeah, I just do that, and I've been really blessed, but I really want to make it as far as an actor, I've been going to all these auditions. My last big audition was to be in the J-Lo movie, but I didn't get it. But you know what? I was like, well, you know what? She was going through a transition with A-Rod and that Ben Affleck guy. So it probably would have been a good idea that I was in the movie, because I might have had to say something about the relationship.
Right. It wouldn't have been a good look,
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a good look at all.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But the cool thing about it is the elevation from radio, where you formed and created hip hop rap lane for us. Then you come to California, and with that knowledge, you knew how to promote hip hop. Then you get on the other end of it, and now you become an editor where you're writing about different people in hip hop. So you were able to bring together your ability to market and create, along with your wordplay to sell the story. And that's the perfect marriage. Right there. No divorces, are there?
No, and you can see what I do right now. I have my own company. It's called rapattacklives.com, and you can see what I write about. You can see the charts where all these unsigned hip hop groups are on this top 30 chart, because I love giving props to these up and coming starving artists who need a platform. You know, they don't have their own Billboard magazine to look at, so they look at my charts, and you know, people really respect, you know, my charts because they're legit. You know, these are underground independent artists, you know, trying to make a name and get a start, because I know what it feels like to be there.
Yeah. And that sets us up nicely for us to talk about your road to riches. I mean, I was looking through that as I was doing the research on you, and I was just like, man, how does he get all of this stuff done? Talk to me about that documentary and how it is helping artists get into the game in the lane that they want to be in. Tell us about it.
Well, since you brought that up, I am working on my book. My, what do you call it? It's a memoir called. I wrote this down so I wouldn't forget. It's called Time Out. The executive editor is a guy by the name of Lubba J. So all my secrets will be in that book. but you know, it's not just about me in the business, but about my personal life too, because we can spend another 2 hours talking about my personal life. Yeah. And it starts with a D, called drama. but guy, you know what? I forgot, what was your original question?
I was just saying how that program is helping other artists, that road to riches, how you are translating your experience and put it on a platform so that other artists can see different things that you're offering, especially the development end of it. I think that the industry right now, the development is the missing piece to a lot of our up and coming artists, as far as them understanding that you really only have one chance to make a first impression. And so if you don't know those rules that you need to follow in order to do that, you end up possibly ruining your career because you step on somebody's toes that was too big at the time. So tell me how that program is helping. One thing
that I've been very blessed with is to, let's just say, Lisa, you're an artist, right? Right. I'm good at taking your record and make sure all my DJs who report to my rapattacklives.com, and they're all mostly non-commercial college radio DJs, that they get your record. And now it's not a record. It's like an MP3, you know, so they get your music, that they'll play it. And you gotta understand, these DJs, their shows only air like once or twice a week, but they're playing it once or twice a week, and they can play whatever they want to play, you know. So my thing is I know how to take your record and break it on college radio. They're either gonna like it or not like it. And I also have connections to take you and introduce you to someone else who can take you to the next level and get it played on mainstream radio or commercial radio, you know, just, you know, to take it to the next level, you know. So, you know, and that's one thing that I'm really blessed with having. But, you know, but I just hate dealing with people that say, yeah, I'll do this, I'll do that, and then they don't come through. Yeah. You know, it's hard dealing with people like that. So I tell them from the beginning, this is what you're gonna do. If you can't do it, don't even waste my time. I mean, I don't even want your money if you can't take the time out to do, let's say, 20 DJ drops. DJ drops, this is really easy. You just go in the studio and go, hey, yo, I'm Nasty Ness, and you're listening to the new single by Lisa on KWAR, you know, like that, you know?
Right. You make it sound so good.
Yeah, DJs love getting drops, you know, but I tell you, some of these artists, they're too lazy. They won't do
He
those.
even
You
do
know, and it helps. It really helps when you playing DJ drops. You know,
Right.
you know. But like today, believe it or not, you remember Busy Bee? Busy
Yes.
Bee.
Yes.
Yeah. At his age, he still does drops. He did a drop from because I have a show that airs every Sunday night on Rainier Avenue Radio.world at 9 p.m. Pacific.
Okay.
DJ Busy Bee did a drop for me. At a guy his age, I don't know who's older, me or him, but he knows the importance of DJ drops. And for him to do it, if he can do it, these young cats who are 18 years old in their 20s can do it too. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you know, if Busy Bee gives me a drop, I'm gonna play it on his new song. You know, because that's Busy Bee. You know, so yeah.
All right, well, let's me and you. I'm gonna do an original drop for you. You do an original drop for me. I'm gonna make up the station and all that. But let's see. I'm trying to get that radio voice that you got.
Oh man, I radio voice.
Let me start out with giving you your drop.
Okay.
Welcome to WXYZ. I'm Lisa O, and I'm in the house with the one, the only DJ Nasty Ness.
Whoa, I'll play your record anytime.
Give me some. So come back with something.
So what name do you go by? Lisa
O.
Lisa O?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay. Hey, what's up? This is DJ Nastiness, Seattle's original crazy Pinoy Filipino, and you're listening to Lisa right here on WKNY. Lisa, what's up?
With some DJ Nasty Ness, it don't sound much sweeter than that. And I think that sets us up nicely to go to the grill. Let's burn something up, Ness. Ain't
What's that?
Better. The grill is when we throw something on there. We talking martial arts today on the grill. And I'm gonna talk to you about how at 13 years old, you got the opportunity to go to a school in Seattle. I don't know if it was called the Bruce Lee School, but I believe his concepts, martial arts wise, was the pinnacle and foundation of the school. So talk to us about that experience at 13.
Well, the name of our school is the Jun Fan Kung Fu Institute. And my teacher, he recently passed away, is my Sifu, Taki Kimura.
Wow.
And I was 13 years old, yes, and I was really at that time, and to this day, it's too young to be a member of the school.
Right.
The only reason why I was able to be a member is because my teacher and my mom were really good friends. Okay. And my mom kept complaining to him, I don't know what to do with my son. He doesn't listen to me, blah, blah, blah. And then when I found out that he knew Bruce Lee and he was Bruce Lee's best friend, I begged my mom, is there a way you can ask him to teach me? So one day he asked me to come down on a Monday night, and he told my mom, I'll take care of him. and he did. But you know what? Not only was he like my teacher, because I never had a full-time father, he became like my second father. He became a role model, a mentor, and and that's something. Being with him has taught me to be humble and to help others. And so what he gave to me, I give to others,
Yeah.
And so I was 13 years old when that happened. And the style is Wing Chun / Jeet Kune Do is Bruce Lee style. Mm-hmm.
I love that. And tell us about how important that training was for you as it referred to discipline. Because I know anything that has to do with martial arts has to derive from discipline. So how did that help you to carry on through your life with the absence of your father?
Oh my gosh, it just, it gave me a lot. Growing up, when I first moved to the States, I was really fat. I wore Hawaiian shirts because I thought they were cool, but it was only cool in Hawaii, So I felt really dorky. I was always the last one to get picked on to play on the basketball team. And I didn't know how to play football. So being in martial arts, when I took that, I was really good at it. I mean, I really was really good, and it taught me self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It just really helped me out with my self-confidence. And if you don't have good self-esteem or self-confidence, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
And that really helped me out a lot. So I would say in my entire lifetime, having martial arts taught me discipline. But you know what else helped me out, and I don't mind sharing it with you, was anger management. I actually had to go to anger management classes by law, and it was to the point where even when I was done doing my time with anger management, I asked them, I said, is it okay if I stay an extra 6 months? I really wanted to stay longer, and I was willing to pay for it because I really knew I needed help. And if you don't go in there not wanting help, it's not going to work. You got to really want to change your life. And the person you're talking to now is totally different than the person like 20, 30 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm really blessed. Martial arts, anger management really helped my life a lot.
Right. But I think that through the martial arts, like you said, you gain the confidence. I mean, that a lot of people that get into this industry allow other people to act as their confidence as they're going through trying to define who they are. And I truly believe that by you being a part of martial arts, not only did it help your confidence, but it also helped your knowledge in order to gain the confidence. So talk to me about what sort of things that you learned there, knowledge-wise.
Well, I learned how to lose weight. I used to be really fat.
But that's a good thing for health, period.
Yeah. So the health part, for sure.
Right.
I just... like I said, Bruce Lee was and is my role model. So a lot of his philosophies I follow, and what my Sifu Taki Kimura shared with me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one thing he taught me, it has nothing to do with martial arts. He owned a grocery store, and he was sweeping the floor. Mm-hmm. And I said to my Sifu, I go, Sifu, why are you sweeping the floor? Why don't you have that guy do it? He works for you. He goes, he said to me, well, Nestor, never feel like you're too good enough to sweep the floor. Yes. And that's all he said to me. It didn't really dawn on me what he meant until later. Then I realized, hey, you know what? Never feel you're too good to do something that, just because you're higher than someone in the rank, So that's what made me humble, So if I was there right now and you want me to sweep your floor, I'll sweep your floor. I clean toilets too.
And you know what? If you needed someone to sweep your floor, I'd sweep your floor too, because what it does when you allow yourself to be an example of doing whatever needs to be done, regardless of a title, what you're showing is if I asked you and you work for me to do something, I'm not asking you to do nothing that I myself will not do. And there's power in that. I feel like oftentimes when you do get in those opportunities where the person did the work, of course, to get where they got, starts to look down on other people in terms of the things that they have them do, the way that they talk to them, because they're trying to get up those same steps, because you always go up, but the law of gravity always makes you come down. So you gotta stay clear and you gotta stay humble, because to me, humbleness looks good on me. I already got an ego. You know what I mean? It's easy for me to do that. But to stay humble, it allows my ego not to ruin my gift, is what that does. Would you agree with that statement or not?
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of heads of companies treat their employees like, man, how can you talk to someone like that, Yeah. I mean, even in personal relationships, seeing men, how they talk to their wives or even kids talking to their mothers, Man,
Yeah.
if I said one swear word to my mom, oh my gosh, I wouldn't be alive to do this interview.
Yeah, I'd have been dead a long time ago
You
because
too?
yeah, yeah. But I think that too, because we grew up that way with that fear. Because it's early it's better to instill that fear into a child early so they know there's lines in this and that you're not supposed to cross it. I think that the line is missing in today's youth, not because it's their fault, but because it's our fault for not establishing that line.
Yeah.
And it's just costing us so much in our cultures because our kids are going astray first before they ever come back to us to let us know what might be bothering them. How do you think we can change that?
Man, all I know is it's hard. Sometimes it's hard for me to say no. You know, I'm such a giving person. But man, you just gotta put your foot down, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know about you, but is it hard for you to say no sometimes, or can you tell someone straight out,
You know what? Saying no was a big problem for me. I was one of those that felt like, okay, if I'm not giving you no gas for your car, that should equal me saying no. But I realized that you gotta be straight up and they gotta hear the word no out of your mouth, because if you don't do that, then they can assume whatever it is that they want to assume. And then secondly, they know that they can play you because you don't have the balls to say no. So now I straight up no, I won't be doing that. Or first asking the question of what it is they want me to do so that I know that that's the part I want to play. That's what you learn, in my opinion, about the word no. What part do you want to play? If you don't want to play that part, then that's a no for you.
Yeah, I guess sometimes I feel like I don't want to look like I'm the bad guy, like, oh man, he's going to tell someone else that Nancy's mean. He's all full of himself. You know what I mean? I feel that a lot of time, but like you have a really strong personality. Like there's no way I would boss you around. I'd be scared of you.
Well, see, I had too much of that at one time. And that runs people away. When you got too much power, that runs people away because that doesn't allow them to be vulnerable with you because you're not being vulnerable. But I learned that there's power in being vulnerable, especially if you know how to control it. And I really feel that something like martial arts is the type of discipline because of the knowledge that you gain, because of the confidence that you gain, and also the getting into yourself, because you got to get into yourself to be successful in martial arts. Yeah. I don't care who's training you, that discipline and that breathing and that movement, it has to come from you. So it's a really, really good way to work on yourself in a way that is powerful and helps you be great in the business that we love.
Well, the back to my book, my memoir, I call it Time Out. Do you know why I call it Time Out?
No.
Okay,
yeah,
so when
I need a timeout.
No, seriously, and this is what I learned when I went to anger management is before you even think about hitting somebody, breaking something, or saying something, you go like this. Can you see me? I say, I'm going to tell that person, I'm going to take it. No, don't laugh. This is seriously. You say, Lisa, I'm going to take a time out. I'll be back in 10 minutes. All right? But you got to come back in 10 minutes. And I tell you, that whole 10 minutes that go by, you calm down, and then it prevents you from saying the mean things that you're going to say, or destroy something, or hit the person. It really worked for me, So Lisa, I'm taking a time out. I'll be back in 1 second. I'm back. See, it worked.
Oh my goodness! You know what? That does work because that gave me a breath and a beat that I needed. Because
you gotta go like this. Time out.
You gotta do your time out. Time out. Lisa, time out. You're too excited. Calm down.
There you go.
And now I'm back. No, I'm just kidding.
See?
But I love it. And I love the fact that you shared your martial arts experience with us and to the audience. You know, we put good stuff on the grill and we cook it well. And we got the man that knows how to cook things up. So let's take it off the grill, because we did that, Ness. We made sure. Oh, shoot. I'm ready, man. So let's get back to these questions. So how did you land those acting roles that you brought up earlier? Like you said, House Party 4 and also the Kung Pao. That movie came out on Fox, didn't it?
Yeah, 20th Century Fox.
Yeah, 20th Century Fox did that one.
Well, being in the music business, my guy, he worked, his name is Ken Wilson, and he
shout out to Ken Wilson.
Yeah, he pushed records. He's responsible for like Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, all these big artists, and he's plus he's a good friend of mine and a guy I learned how to promote records from. It just so happened his sister is a big time acting agent in LA.
Oh,
and
okay.
I met her through him, and she saw me at an event, and she said I had this unique look about myself. And so the first thing she asked me goes, "Would you mind being in a video with, you remember Nutty Professor, the two big guys, Hercules?
Oh, yeah, I love that. Eddie Murphy's movie.
Yeah. So it was with the two guys and Yo-Yo.
Oh, yeah, the two twins. Those twins in the movie. Okay.
So she asked me, I'd like to see you in a part in their video. And then I did it, and she really was impressed with me. And she's been my agent ever since, you know.
Wow.
So she just sent me out on all these acting auditions, and a lot of them said no, but the few that said yes, I'm still getting residual checks. And like I said, the J-Lo one didn't work out, but I think it was best it didn't because of Ben Affleck. I don't really like him.
And you know what? Timing is everything for this in this business too, Ness. So when you don't get something, it just simply means that it wasn't for you. That's just it, and we just drop it like that. I think it's the best way. So I gotta ask you, because you know hip hop inside and out, you gotta give me who your top 5 MCs in hip hop are. It don't get to be a decade. You just know so much about it, so I know you're gonna give me heat. Give me 5 and tell me why.
Yeah, just on the top of my head, because I'm a big old school fan. I love, of course, my man Sir Mix-a-Lot. Eazy-E and NWA. Who else? The obvious, Biggie and Pac. That's already 4. But there's a lot more. I mean, I can say Hammer, Public Enemy. It's a long list of artists that I've grown up with or know. But those are some of the main ones. I love the West Coast. I love Egyptian Lover, Rodney-O. I love. You know a guy named Domino? You familiar with him?
Yeah, I know Domino, Ghetto J.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the first guy that plays music in Seattle. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't, but thank you so much, because you made that a hit for us in the backyard.
Yeah.
Outburst Records and to my one and only Greedy Greg. So we love you for that, man.
Yeah. You probably remember my name if you bring up my name to him, because I think we met a few times way back then.
Yeah. He knows you. He definitely knows you and appreciates you. But I just wanted to ask you one question about one of your top 5s, and that was Eazy-E. Because right now he got a documentary that his daughter put out, and there's just so much controversy around it, and the family ain't behind it. Tell me what you feel about that. Did you have a chance to check out the documentary at all?
Yeah, you know what? It's ironic how I used to have cable TV. And I used to spend $300 a month on it, and I realized if you just buy a satellite antenna and install these apps, you don't really need cable TV. But I know it's on the Wii channel, so I've got to find that somewhere because I haven't seen it yet. But I know it's called The Mysterious Death of Eazy-E, correct? I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen it?
I've seen the first episode and I found it interesting because it's from a different perspective. It's from his daughter that feels like everybody else been moving ahead with her father's legacy and being inappropriate along the way. So that's why I wanted to know what you felt about it, because
I haven't seen
a lot of the events that occurred. So since you haven't seen it and can't comment on it, I would be interesting to see or to hear what you think about it. So I'm gonna circle back around with you on that.
Okay.
To compare notes. But lastly, how can we follow your movement, DJ Nasty Ness? Because we want to keep up with you. And let me know what your Instagram is, your website, and everything, so that our audience will be able to eat, man.
Alrighty, so we'll start with my website.
Yes.
It's www.rapatacklives.com. rapatacklives.com. On Facebook, it's at Nasty Ness. And just to let you know, it's NASTYNES. Only one S. Not two S's, not a Z, but one S.
One it is.
On Instagram, it's at Nastiness numeric 818. So Nastiness 818. And let's see, Twitter at Nastiness with a numeric 1, Nastiness 1. And then you can hear all my shows that I do Sunday Night Archive on mixcloud.com/nastyness. So there it is. If you go to all four or five of them, you're set for the whole year.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So let's go back to our quote, Ness, because it set us up so nicely for our conversation. And it's a shout out to you and your great work in the hip hop culture. And it goes, rags to riches are the stories that tell us that money can't buy dreams, hopes, aspirations, and success. And I think you're the epitome of that quote and your journey. And we're just so excited that you chose to share that with us today. And I want to say to my audience, thanks so much for tuning in today. I know you learned something from the great ones that we bring back here to the yard. So make sure that you subscribe, hit that bell, comment, like, share, tell a friend, all of those things that can make our subscriber numbers go up. Check us out on our website, www.rappersinmybackyard, and I'm popping my collar on that.com. And also we're available on all streaming platforms. So check us out and keep us locked. And I would like to say thank you so much, DJ Nasty Ness.
Thank you, Lisa.
We just played too much. I need more than an hour with you. I need 2 hours to be able to sufficiently give you all the credit and appreciation that you deserve in this business. And I wanted to make sure you got your flowers while you're here so that people know who has helped push this culture forward. I mean, you're an integral part of it, especially when you throw up Seattle. We wouldn't be there initially if it wasn't for you. So thank you for introducing hip hop, keeping it alive, nourishing us through your great programs that you've cultivated. And we can't wait to see you in your next film, because I know you're going to get a big one. You got a big enough chain for it.
There you go. All right, Lisa, you take care. All right.
All right, hang on with me for just one more minute. Audience, we can't wait to talk, express, relate, and connect with you next week, Sunday at 2. Y'all know what it is, rags to riches. Rags to riches. My man, Nasty Ness. Have a great one, you guys, and we love you. Keep it popping, baby. Hip hop and don't stop. See y'all next week. Peace.